The week was long, your feet are tired, could use a vacation. Just gather round and join with Dub, it's Monday Motivation. Monday Motivation.
Hey friends, happy Monday. Happy Monday Motivation to you here in November. Hashtag BeatUpFit. Use hashtag BeatUpFit, the season of giving. Tell me one positive thing you did for somebody else, something generous to help someone else boost their spirits. Whatever the method may be, it'll boost your own spirits. Let's get into our quote from Will Rogers this week. And the quote is, don't let yesterday use up too much of today. Don't let yesterday use up too much today. Now, I see that attributed to Will Rogers, who was like a vaudevillian era actor. I've also seen it attributed to John Wooden. I'm not sure who said it first. May just be a proverb. I don't know. I've got the sun just right here across me. But the good quote, don't let yesterday use up too much of today. And I thought of talking about this next week's Thanksgiving. We're going to certainly talk about generosity and giving and that thing. But I thought this week we'd look more introspective and internal to ourselves. We've done a lot of looking externally recently in the season of giving. But for this week, I thought we'd look internally. And it's especially work for me has been very stressful in recent weeks. Very, very stressful. We're in some what have turned out to be a longer and more complex negotiation process than I originally thought on a fairly sizable deal, project, whatever you want to call it. Something that I thought may be a little bit easier than it has been, and something that may be simpler. This hasn't been adversarial or challenging, but it's been complex. And it really has made work be just not great. And, you know, I don't really ever think work is great personally. I try to be a positive person, an optimist, and a silver lining. I try to approach every day with joy and happiness. But, you know, work is still work. And you'd rather be at play than at work. But especially recently, several days this week. So I had to travel to Boston this week. It's the first that type of work travel in 3 years, where I was traveling onto a customer site to meet with a customer for a couple days, take them to dinner, do all these things. That's something I haven't done in a few years. And it's the first time, you know, leaving my family behind, the puppy, the girls and everything. And then also we had a big weekend this weekend. We celebrated Kim's birthday. We went to see a movie. Kaya made a cake. We had an event at the house. And so I wasn't able to like really focus on that. And then on top of that, Kaya had a school event. She sang the national anthem at a basketball game. She also had events after school. She's getting ready to try out for something tomorrow. She's going to try out for it's winter guard, but it's like the color guard or the flag corps during the winter. It's not a thing I even knew existed, but she's trying out for that. So there's just a lot going on. And you add to that the stress of the challenge of work, but especially 2 different nights, I had to work well into the evening on a project, this complex thing that I had to have out before the next day. And I don't ever like to do that. In fact, I usually just say no, that I refuse to do it. I refuse to work on something at that point, like well into the evening. I'm just not willing to do that. I'm not giving up time with my family. But this is a pretty specific thing. And, you know, I could have said no, but it was to my advantage to not let too much of yesterday get into today. And so that was a long way to get back into that quote. I worked on it yesterday, or, you know, the yesterday, which is actually, we're talking about Tuesday and Wednesday, to not allow those next days to get taken up with yesterday's work. And, you know, that's true of a lot of things, right? When things are bothering us, when we get in an argument with somebody in our life, family member, significant other, whatever the case may be, when we're stressed out about something, when you've had a bad day, whatever the case may be, I think most of us are pretty bad about letting that yesterday get into the next day. A bad day is nothing more than a bad day. It doesn't mean it's a bad life. It means it's a bad day. It doesn't have to make tomorrow bad. But so often we let those things carry with us. And I made a decision, and I apologize, you know, and Natalie and Kai were there. I said, I have to get this done. If I don't spend the 45 minutes to get this done, it's going to become 3 hours tomorrow and make tomorrow way worse. And I'd rather just get it done and not let it get into tomorrow. And I don't like to do that at work, like I talked about. And I don't actually believe you should do that at work. I'm not a workaholic. Work should end. You got to have boundaries. But it's a good illustration of how there are things in our life that the way we handle them and we put them off, we allow them to impact tomorrow. And usually it's a bad thing. So as you go through this week, and we're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and this is often a stressful week for a lot of people. You know, holidays aren't great for everybody. Holidays mean a lot for our family. I understand it doesn't. A lot of people are not excited. I have heard from multiple people, the one thing I will truly miss about the COVID times is that I don't have to see my family on the holidays. I don't have an excuse anymore. And that, you know, that's unfortunate that that's the reality of a lot of people, but it is the reality of a lot of people. So this time, the week before Thanksgiving is stressful and you're trying to make plans and maybe you're upset. Maybe you fight with someone else. Work can be stressful because usually people are going out for the week of Thanksgiving and so everybody's trying to get a bunch of stuff done and it's chaos. There's just a lot of things that can directly impact tomorrow when you're working on it today. So I challenge you, whatever those things may be, whatever impacts you today, leave it in today. Try your best to not let it impact tomorrow. Certainly there are bigger things. There are illnesses. There are terrible things that happen. But make it a bad day. Don't make it a bad life. That's my challenge. So think about it. Whatever you encounter today that's negative, and we're all going to encounter something today that's negative. Think to yourself, how can I get this done and move on so that it doesn't affect me anymore tomorrow? Don't let yesterday take up too much time of today. I think it's a good quote. I think it's a good lesson for all of us. Hope it starts your week off well. I'll be back next week getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'll talk to you then.